Hello everybody, this is Sonav.
And I'm Wave of Shadow, and we are the Team Liquid Twin Casting Golems, coming at you live like a Justin Bieber concert without all the preteen girls. Second time I had to make this joke tonight.
Yeah, it kind of loses its charm the second time around, but I
Yeah.
still hate Justin Bieber, so it's okay. But today for you guys, we have Team Liquid C versus Fruity Pebbles. And I'm really excited about this, not because of the game, but because of this pretty overlay that we have.
Ooh, show it off for our fans.
Oh, you see we have golems here, a small golem and a big golem, and our follow information for all of our stuff. And oh, what's this? Oh, you can't actually see the game. Damn
No,
it.
I'm not watching stream right
Yeah, there we go. I fixed it. I hit the wrong hotkey. It's okay. Alright, so we've got some bands going on. Wave, why don't you talk about them for a little bit?
Alright, let's talk about them a bit. So we got standard defensive bans here, Blitzcrank and Shen, both extremely annoying to deal with. TLC does not feel like dealing with pulls like game, and Shen split pushing and teleports. And for Fruity Pebbles, what are their bans so far?
Katarina and Diana, two mage assassins that nobody likes to play against. And it's not very surprising. I mean, Katarina is annoying if you don't know how to play against her, and she's still annoying even if you do know how to play against her. And Diana is a very strong pick as well, picked by many higher level players as well, because she's just very strong, tanky, and does a lot of damage.
Yep, and we do see the Oriana band coming out for TLC, and there's a Malphite. So really, really strong bands coming out. But there's a lot of open champions that are still widely considered as being extremely strong. Actually, not even seeing an Alistar ban right now, and Alistar is almost like universally banned at all elos because he's just so ridiculous in terms of CC.
Yeah, Alistar is very annoying to deal with, but he's manageable now. They hit him with a lot of nerfs in the last few months, and he's manageable now. It's not as bad, but he's still got a kit that's just so strong, and it's difficult sometimes to deal with it. But we see the Sona coming out from 2+2, and Sona is just awesome for all team fights. Her ultimate is great.
Yep, Sona being the support pick of choice for 2+2. He's going to be supporting SNSD Ari, and again, we're going to, unless one of the players, well, I say if one of the players happens to pick Ari, which is going to confound our casting a little bit, we will be referring to him as the Korean girls generation, which is what his name refers to. But anyways, Ari does enjoy playing Caitlyn a lot. So the two of them, I wouldn't be surprised to see those being the AD support picks from the two of them.
That is a pretty strong lane, but seeing from Fruity Pebbles, we've got Maokai and Ezreal, and Maokai is just okay, hold on, we're seeing Zed. Alright, awesome. We have not seen anyone play Zed, obviously, because preseason just came out, and he's new today, so this is going to be awesome. I don't even know what he does. I know he's like a shadow that jumps around, but that's it. That's all I got.
I was going to say, does that make me a bad caster if I have no friggin' idea what his abilities are?
I've played him. I don't know.
Have you?
Oh, played
You've played him and you don't know what his abilities are?
I played him once on PvE, but...
Oh, no Zed.
Sad days. Okay, Blade Raid with the TF. I mean, TF is a great mid-champion still. He's got amazing map control, and it's if you can take advantage of misplaced or overextended enemies, it's just, you can snowball a game so quickly.
Yep. And Raffles here going for the that Maokai pick, and it's just Maokai he's a little bit weak early game before he's got that sort of defensive build up, but his ganks are just so insanely strong. You can flash away, but if Twisted Advance is already on you, he's going to go flying all the way towards you and root you wherever you happen to be.
Which can actually be bad for Maokai as well if you drag him onto your tower. But a lot of people dislike Maokai for some reason. I love playing with a Maokai because of his ganks. They're just so incredibly strong, especially mid. So I'm looking forward to seeing who Fruity Pebbles picks for mid to complement that jungle pick, and it may be Ari.
May very well be. Let's have a look. Frax and Sorry are going to lock in those picks. Yes, it is going to be Tarek and Ari as the support and AP picks for mid. So it's going to be Ari against Bladerade's Twisted Fate.
And comboing the Ari active game not found. Okay. Comboing Ari and Maokai ganks together are ridiculous. The route into a charm is just very scary for any mid to deal with, especially someone like TF who does not have a lot of mobility inherently, and who has to pull a clutch yellow card really to, like a pressure yellow card, to be able to survive that. So they're going to more than likely be looking to shut down TF mid before he can really roam and exert his map control.
Okay, we do see Sanster, who is the jungler for TLC. He is going with an Amumu pick, and I've seen him jungle, and he's played Amumu before, and I mean, he's again TLC is mostly they're doing these scrims to sort of get some work done. So he's got a little bit of work to do on his Amumu. Although I believe the last game I casted him and he said he was getting some lag, so there were some bandage tosses being missed. Let's see if he can redeem himself this game. Amumu is actually going to be a pretty strong pick in team fights. Going to be able to lock Ari in place because she will be attempting to jump around and get those shots from her ultimate off.
And you'll notice, because there's an Amumu jungle, that means we have a Mundo top.
Huh.
I'm
Now
not I'm not
I
sure
don't
how it's gonna play out.
Yeah, I'm not sure the strengths. I mean, supposedly Mundo Top is actually, somewhat viable, but you don't really see it all that often, and I think it requires a very specific play style and leveling style rather than in his, maxing W in the jungle.
Yep, and I'm thinking Jace is going to be doing pretty well against Mundo because he is quite strong in lane, where Mundo does need to get a bit tankier and be able to, get up in their face. Where a six item Mundo is very scary, but he has to get there first. I don't think Jace is going to let him get there, to be honest.
No, Schluber definitely being a little bit of a scumbag. Racket trying something new, but Schluber saying, no, I'm going to play someone tried and true, super harass, super escapes. Like, it's going to be really, really difficult to get some good ganks off on Schluber on the top lane and relieve the pressure on Racket.
There is quite a bit of mobility from Purple Team. I mean, they've got the Ezreal with Arcane Shift, they got Ahri with her ult, she's always slippery mid, and they've got Jace top lane. So all their carries are really gonna be difficult to pin down, despite having a Mumu and Sona. But if they can, team fights from Blue Team from TLC are going to be very strong.
Yeah, I do like I like there's a nice balance on Team Fruity Pebbles of CC and carry ability. They've got the stuns, they've got a charm, they've got, speed boost, they've got like sort of a lockdown, a root, they've got a lot of mobility. Just an overall like strong team. Nothing specific about it. It's not really a poke comp. It's not really well, actually, I mean, they can poke with this comp, but it's not like specifically geared towards poking. It's not specifically geared towards tower diving. It's just an overall well-rounded comp.
Yeah, and I'm really liking to. I like to see Tristana coming out from TLC. Tristana is one of my personal favorite AD carries, just because I just love the way she works, and she's got a couple recent buffs. They made her explosive shot active the same range as her auto attack, her current auto attack, which really increases her team fight ability, especially with that not having to be closer to use that. I think she's a lot stronger than people are giving her credit for right now. I mean, just because Ezreal's still so good, but I think the team fight from Blue Team is going to be very good.
Yeah, I think what it's going to have to come down to is I think the early game, Tristana's early game is pretty decent. She's got nice bursts, but mid game is where she starts to fall off before that attack range really ramps up for late game. And so I think that's what's going to come down to Bladerade really performing those crazy bottom lane teleport ganks in order to pull Girls' Generation. Well, I'm going to be referring to him as Girls' Generation because we already have an Ari. It's going to get confusing. So SNSD Ari going to be referred to as Girls' Generation. We're going to have to get him through that mid game into the late game where he can just auto attack to his heart's content.
I think the lane to watch is going to be top lane for a little while, just because we're gonna see Jace being very aggressive against Mundo, and I won't be surprised if Raffles will come up and really assist that and get that ball rolling, because Jace with a little bit of momentum is really gonna snowball hard against that. And also, we're gonna, as soon as TF hits 6, as soon as Blade Raid gets there, he's going to be looking to get out of that lane, because playing against Ahri is never fun. And Fracas and Raffles are more than likely going to have a lot of pressure mid as well.
Yeah. What do you think that Wreckit can do to sort of minimize the damage going to be done by Jace? Like, how is he going to be able to survive his lane and leave the laning phase with a decent amount of CS and farm?
I'm thinking he's just going to need to get a lot of armor. I mean, the downside with Mundo is, like, he scales really well with health just because of, his percent health regen. But Jace does percent max health damage. So it's not going to be that beneficial just to stack health. He's going to need some armor to really be able to survive a little bit. But I'm not sure. I mean, I obviously don't like Mundo top as many people do not. So it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with it.
All right, so game's just about to start. We got a little bit longer left on the delay. So if you had to, let's do a little bit of analysis here, just based on picks here. Who would you have to give the game to?
It's hard to say that because both teams have strengths in different areas, but I'm gonna have to say probably Team Fruity Pebbles, just because they have a more diverse team, a more adaptive team. Really, they can poke. They're very mobile. They can just avoid a lot that's coming in on them, but also be very aggressive in sieging towers.
All right, well, I'm going to be a little contrary, and because I don't like your face, I'm going to pick TLC
Wow,
because I like their spunk. They got moxie. They got AoE ults. They're going to take it down.
AoE ults are always fun to use to watch. Let's see. Let's see how we can get this overlay to work. My computer's exploding. My
I'm really excited to watch this after. Oh, look at these. Oh, wow.
oh, it's
I
so
haven't seen these
pretty.
portraits in game. They're so colorful. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I've only ever seen my own team in solo queue. It doesn't show the opponent's team. It only shows yours. This is
Oh.
nice. I like this.
It is very colorful. Looking at the portraits, it seems we have a multitude of gold level players from season two, but it seems as though Fruity Pebbles might have a little bit of an advantage here because they do actually have three what looks to be platinum players as well.
Yes, that's platinum, and Wreckage
Hmm.
is the silver, the little dull silver. But he is
Oh,
honorable.
don't be mean to
He's
Silver.
he's
He's doing his best. Wreckage just he tried, okay? He tried.
look his ping though. I mean, he's got a nice little advantage over Schlu. He's got 1/10 of the ping that Schluber does.
Well, look at Fracas. Fracas is sitting at like 400. So if ping is any indication of who's going to win the game, it's definitely TLC.
Man, I'm not as much as I'd love to be loyal to a an arranged Team Liquid team. Fruity Pebbles, I think, is really gonna be able to do this. Oh wait,
We're not supposed to be biased.
I'm not
Not
being
supposed to be biased.
biased.
Oh, I am. I want TLC. I'm just kidding. All right, so here we go. The game's beginning. People are heading off into their jungles. I'm imagining we might see an invade because there's actually a very, very strong invade team from Fruity Pebbles. They have a lot of poke, a lot of point and click. They've got a point and click stun and twisted advance from Raffles. So they're probably going to want to prevent Sandster from being able to take that early blue.
Well, that's all dependent on whether or not Maokai actually does take Twisted Advance, because if he does, that weakens his early clear. It's really the saplings that give him the power, and actually we can check. He has taken nothing yet, which is good. I mean, that's really what you want to do, is you want to stay versatile. And we do actually have a nice little invade coming in from TLC.
Yeah, both teams just dancing around each other. Actually, Team Fruity Pebbles has no idea that the blue team, they've just sort of circled around and entered each other's jungles. And so I'm wondering if both teams are just going to completely bypass each other, take a couple camps, and then head to lane.
Well, now TLC did drop a ward in the Wraith Bush, and Fruity Pebbles is just sitting there. I'm thinking they're assuming, because it is a Mumu, I mean, Sandster is gonna need a blue buff, that they want to invade on that. But I don't think anything's actually gonna happen. They may just take buffs and move their separate ways.
Well, let's see. I mean, because if they want to take blue buff, I mean, TLC is in the wrong jungle right now. So let's see exactly what's going to happen. They may take Wraiths in red and head out.
Right, which, I mean, I'm not the most well-versed jungler out there, so I'm not sure how much it actually does slow Mumu down. I think it just shortens how much he can actually do, because he needs that mana regen for his tantrum and his ears. I don't even know what that's called.
Despair. He
But
is
they are
sad.
going to be taking the red buff here.
Yep, Nice Leash going down. Tan's going to pick up that early red while losing his own blue. So now, I mean, Raffles is going to enter his jungle. He probably is going to want to pick up a red. I don't know if he's going to try and perform a level 2 gank on top lane, considering there's no one really there for him to gank yet. But if he goes and tries to head over to his red, he's going to find it gone, and then he might have to race Sandster over to his own blue.
Yeah, and Fracas and Blader did, high five mid, just passing each other into lane. And Sandster and Raffles are also, saying hi to each other. Just nothing really. Sorry. Nothing really going on right now. They're just kind of moving around, getting through the jungle, getting back to their own side because they want to be back on their own safety.
Yep, Sandster just crying up a storm right now. He walked over to blue buff. He found it wasn't there. All he can do is cry.
And Sordia did stay at blue buff to help clear that. So Fruit Market was by himself for a little while, and 2+2 and Girls' Generation really are now starting to zone him out.
Yep. Hang off, we do see the top lane now. Wreckit has gotten there. Schluber's already beginning that auto attack harass. He does have that advantage. Wreckit, I mean, Schluber can stand behind minions and not, get hit with the cleaver at all, while Schluber can auto attack Wreckit to his heart's content. So I believe the zoning is going to start from Jace really, really early on.
Right, I don't think Mundo just has anything to deal with Jace at all, just because Jace does have that ranged ability. He can, you're seeing him just auto attack everything. Just anytime Wreckit gets anywhere near it, Wreckit has to keep spamming his cleavers, which does cost him health as well, despite, even if he does hit a target, it costs him a little bit.
Yep, and so now Raffles is going to have a little bit of this advantage. He does actually get both blue buffs early game. He's going to be minus a red buff, but, I mean, arguably the blue buff is more important for both Maokai and Amumu in that early game.
And TLC is pushing in the bottom lane. I'm thinking Raffles is going to come down and gank this. He may come through the lane, actually. Sorty's getting low, though.
Yeah, very, very low. He's got to be really careful if he's going to try and bait and support a gank. I mean, Ari could just jump on him and end him right there. Looks like Raffles just going to come down and push them out a bit, scare him away a little bit, allow Sortia to heal himself a little bit, and allow Fruit Market to CS.
Yeah, and TLC does have the Dragon warded, so they're not going to be able to get any ganks unless it's through the lane.
Yep. Mid lane, Fracas has actually blown through all of his mana already, harassing Bladerade, so now Bladerade's going to have a little bit of an easier time last hitting than he was earlier.
And Sortia did toss down a ward into that first bush, so they do see 2+2 just sitting there trying, they can see him when he's going to harass a little bit more. So they can sort of, I guess, anticipate it, although I guess against Sona it's a little difficult because it's not a skill shot, it's just, targets. I think it does it prioritize champions?
Does which prioritize champion? Sona? The Q? Yeah. I believe it does, yes.
And Raffles and Sanster meeting in the jungle. Raffles has to back out because Amumu is just doing too much damage. Yeah,
Sandster still a little bit behind. He's behind in levels to Raffles because he's only been able to pick up, I mean, those red buffs, which, I mean, he's going to have to slow down. It slows down his jungling. He can't spam his abilities as much as he'd want. So Raffles does have that bit of advantage early, but he hasn't made anything happen with it yet. And again, those Maokai ganks with Twisted Advance, I mean, I would argue he really should be doing something with that.
Well, the mid lane is just now pushing back towards Fracas, but he's out of mana and a little low.
We might see our first jungle gank of the game. Sandster going to come in. We're going to see if he lands the Banish Toss. He's actually going to wait, and look at this Wreckage. Schluber was going to go in on Wreckage and gain that first blood. Now we're going to see if the red buff slow is going to be enough. Sandster waiting wisely to use his Banish Toss until he has a clear shot, and there's the flash, landing a perfect Banish Toss. Sandster getting that kill and an assist. So a little bit more gold, actually, going to TLC.
Yeah, that was very good patience from Sandster, because he had to just wait until Jace was out of the minions. Oh, and Raffles coming in on Bladerade, flashing for the Twisted Advance into the bush, but Ari can't get there. And Fracas is so low, he needs to be really careful with this.
Bladerade, I mean, that charm just landing, that was beautiful, beautiful charm, that flash in. I was going to say, I wasn't really sure if Bladerade even needed to flash because it looked as though Maokai was going to try and do it on his own, but Fracas came in with that assist and was just perfect. And now Raffles is going to come around bottom. He's going to make something else happen as well. They're really, really far up, Ari in 2+2. There's the stun landing on Ari, and there's the Twisted Advance landing on 2+2. They're going to have to burst him down before the flash goes off the Ignite, and some auto attacks might be enough. Might be enough. Raffles going to dive this turret and getting exhaust on the turret. The turret is actually going to take him down. A perfectly timed exhaust by 2+2. Ari netting that kill. Really well done.
Oh, it was not quite communicated well enough. I mean, Maokai should have more than likely Twisted Advanced onto Tristana because her rocket jump was down. Tarek had stunned her and Tristana had to jump away. So Girls' Generation couldn't escape any further, really. Unless, I mean, he has his flash up, I guess, but it would have forced the flash, and Raffles just overextended a little bit too far.
Yeah, just tanking those turret hits a little bit too much. So top lane, we're going to see Wreckit still trying to recover. Schluber's got a level advantage as well as a CS advantage. And Wreckit, there's just really nothing he can do. Anytime Wreckit tries to go in and do something, Schluber just says, no, I'm going to bust a hammer in your face and just whacks him away. And there's really nothing that Wreckit can do about it. Really, like, that early pick of Mundo top lane just proving to be really a huge mistake for TLC so far.
Wreckit did pick up the, we're looking for a try gank up top, and Schluber does not have a ward. He's not going to see this coming.
No, and this is going to be the end of Schluber here, unless I see some absolutely massive play. Oh, look at this. He ports in backwards, trying to juke out the Twisted Fate stun, and there's an ultimate going down. Wreck-It actually almost dying despite the triple, like the three-man gang top. I'm actually really shocked. Like, Schluber almost really made something huge happen there. Frack is waiting in the bush for Bladerade to come back. He knows he's going to have to come back this way, and Roffles and Bladerade, there's a perfect charm landing, and Amumu does not dissolve, misses the bandage toss, and Bladerade just getting bursted way too hard. Really good reaction from Fracas.
Yep, that was perfect from Frax. It's exactly what you need to do, and as a mid player, I do that all the time. You know they're coming back that way, and you can just, they've used everything they can to get the kill top, so you just sit and wait, and you unload everything when they pass you, and it was perfect.
Why haven't you taught me these tactics? Maybe I'd be platinum today if you would have taught me.
No, it's a secret. I can't tell you these things. I've already, it's one of the rules. It's first rule of mid, you can't talk about mid.
Oh, what's the second rule of mid?
Can't talk about mid.
Oh, I see, okay.
But one thing that was really interesting about that Twisted Fate gank, or the tri-gank top rather, is that Wreck-It got really low and started going back to the tower, and Bladerade popped his ult so he could teleport in between the tower and Schluber, but so he couldn't pursue any further. It was just interesting because TF was sitting in the bush before the lane, in the river bush.
Yeah, and the stun going down on top of our Girls' Range, not gonna be able. Oh, blasting Fruit Market back, and Flash and both not Mystic Shop, Arcane Shift going. Sordia is able to just barely defend it. That was a really well played attempt at a double kill bottom lane, but it just didn't turn out to be enough.
Yeah, not quite enough damage. And if one thing that I can tell you that TLC can work on a little bit more, I've already seen it twice throughout, is that they can work on their communication a little bit more. I mean, Girls' Generation Ignite is up right now. If 2+2 had waited a little bit, literally 20 seconds to get that ultimate off, that would have been a dead Ezreal.
Yeah, it's really important to know when your teammates' summoners are up and when they're not, because, I mean, that, again, as you just saw, it makes the difference in terms of the kill or whether it's not.
Sluber still just being hugely aggressive. Wreck-It still cannot do anything. He needs people to be there to even, contend with Schluber at all. And
yep.
Sandster is coming up. He's walking through a ward this time, though.
Oh, a really good dodge, the bandage toss from Schluber. He's going to go into hammer stance. He's just going to escape that real nice and easy. The cleaver landing, but it's not going to be enough. And see, this is actually really good. The pressure on top lane from Schluber's forcing Sandster to keep coming top and ganking for him. So bottom lane is essentially almost completely free to harass as much as they want.
Oh, and Sandster did ultimate onto Schluber, and Wreck-It is he ignited, and he's going to keep pursuing. He does pick up the kill. Yeah,
actually very well done. Bottom lane, we're seeing a little bit of action too. There's the ultimate from Girls' Generation, but it's not going to be enough. It looks as though he actually hit a minion with it rather than Sordia. And look at that, actually Wreck-It going down because mid lane did react. There's the teleport up top. Rolf is taking so much damage, and Bladerade is out of mana. He can't do anything else. The bandage toss just missing on Fracas.
Yeah, and you can see that, Fruity Pebbles did have a ward in the top side banana bush, so they should have seen Ahri coming. I don't think that Wreck-It should have. He may have just been overextending a little bit too much, not paying attention. And Blader did try and come in, but he just had no mana. He couldn't help anymore.
See, in looking at that, Girls' Generation has actually taken out the bottom turret, and I would argue, I mean, in most games, you really don't want to take out a turret that early because it prevents you from being able to farm really well. But in this game, considering how much help Wreck-It needs top lane, it's probably actually good for them to have that map control and to do a little bit of roaming to, again, relieve the pressure on Wreck-It a little bit.
Well, one thing that it does allow for bot lane to roam more. They're both going bot again, maybe. But they may just be looking to exert some dragon pressure because, I mean, that tower's down, and Wreck-It getting jumped on. Fracas was sitting in that bush, and he's not going to escape. Schluber did ignite. Oh, he is going.
Boom! Oh, it's not quite enough. That was so close. That final EQ, that acceleration gate, just not going to be enough damage to take out Wreck-It with that ultimate on.
They're making me liar's wave.
I know. That Fracas just really always being in the right place at the right time. He's got 2-0-1 already, 58 farm. He's got his blasting on already, so he's really going to start dishing out tons of damage. He needs to get back to mid lane, though, and start farming up a little more because Bladerade's got a hefty CS advantage over him right now.
That's something you never want playing against TF because he is going to be roaming so much that, I mean, you can normally take a big advantage of him not being in lane, but Fracas is just falling quickly behind. And TLC did pick up a dragon at 12 minutes. I am shocked.
We don't usually see that from Team Liquid games, right? We're gonna see a little bit of a skirmish. Oh, Ari and Blader Raid and 2+2 already in a really good alt landing. Sortie is just gonna explode, too much damage. And now Fruit Market. There's the flash exhaust going down from 2+2. And look at this, Girls Generation and Blader Raid. There's the double kill going to Girls Generation. Really well orchestrated. Their ganks have been absolutely insane. And Fracus is gonna try to make something happen. Raffles is gonna try to get something done on 2+2, although he did miss the charm. 2+2 might die, but Fracus eating that ignite, and the dot from explosive shot might be able to take him out in combination with ignite. Oh, look at that! Wow. Sandster almost with the kill steal, but not quite enough, and that was absolutely amazing.
The Tristana explosive shot dot does a lot more damage than a lot of people think, and it lasts a long time too. And I thought Sandster was going to get the kill steal on that, and I love watching the Vantage fly through. And Wreck-It is really getting low top lane.
Would you say that Wreck-It is being...
No.
Being wrecked?
Being Ralph. Is that what you're going for? Wreck-It Ralph? How was that movie, by the way?
I never ended up seeing it.
Oh.
I want to see it still. It looks really good. Imagine there are League of Legends characters in it. That'd be pretty cool, right?
Oh man, and Blader is picking up his blue buff, which is going to be... It's so nice for TF, because, I mean, TF gets free mana as it is with his blue card, but being able to just spam wild cards and not having to worry about mana, you can rely more on yellow cards and red cards for damage and CC. It's so nice in lane having that blue buff.
Yep. And see, looking at the scores right now, looking at Girls Generation, he is 4-0. He has the most gold in the game right now. He's got 5k gold in comparison to most people's only 4k. And I mean, what I was saying, to get through that mid-game hump, Tristana was going to need help from Twisted Fate mid, but instead Twisted Fate really has to sort of divert most of his attention to helping out Wreck-It top lane, but it's been working out. I mean, just the bottom support AD combo has been really enough to sustain them. They've been doing really, really well. We're going to see a gank top lane. Sandster just missing that Banish Toss again. Schluber dodging it really, really well, just knocking Sandster back, and that is going to be a failed gank from TLC.
Yeah, and Tristana getting fed in the lane and getting a lot of kills there gets her to her late game faster. It gets her to that Infinity Edge and even Zeal sooner. And it's really just exactly what you want with Tristana, especially against Ezreal, because he clearly beats her out in the mid game.
So it looks like we're going to see a 3v3 bottom. Sorry to interrupt, but here we're going to see Blader Raid coming in. He goes right past the ward. Oh, Fracus just barely missing that charm. Going to hit Blader Raid and Girls Generation. Look at that. That ultimate going off. And there, the flash out from Fracus. Fracus was a little bit worried, and they're just going to see a little bit of a harass. Wreck-It actually getting the kill on Schluber. We're seeing huge ganks going top lane. Now the junglers are going out. Sandster and Raffles are going to try and do something, but Raffles does have the red buff advantage, and Sandster is just going to back off.
It looked like TLC, again, had a little bit of miscommunication on that three-man gank bottom, because Girls' Generation tried to jump onto Ari just because it looked like they were going to make it. It looked like Blader Raid was going to get that yellow card on her. And if he had, it may have been a kill. But Ari did have to build a flash, which was definitely beneficial for TLC, but I think they could have probably made it a little better.
Yeah, once again, the jungler's going at it again. Sandster not content to just stay back. I mean, he really wanted to fight Raffles, but that red buff is just proving to be a little bit too strong. Sandster was about to go back, but he does want to pick up a little bit of that CS, and he's actually farming really, generally pretty well. Both junglers do have that double gold per 5, and so they're going to be preparing for their mid and late game really well.
Despite having 4 kills up on Fruit Market, Girls' Generation is behind about 10 CS, which I mean isn't a huge margin, but it's definitely not something you want. You want to use the lead that you have, and they're starting to zone again now. There's no tower that they can hide behind, that Fruity Pebbles can hide behind.
Yeah, I'm honestly really surprised. Like, despite the fact that Wreck-It is, again, essentially being wrecked top lane, like he's not being wrecked as hard as I would think. He's got 3 kills. He's only got 50 CS, but I mean, the rest of his team is essentially doing enough for him that he doesn't have to worry. He can just sit top lane anyway, and as long as he forces the Jace to stay top lane, who, again, like you can see, he's coming down now. He sort of wants to leave at some point, but he knows that Wreck-It's going to be pushing his lane down. As long as he can keep Schluber up there, I think TLC is going to be in really good shape.
Well, exactly. All he had to do is survive in the lane, and if he does that and his team does well, I think they're going to be able to transition this well into the later mid game and late game in general. But
you starting to regret your pick?
No, never regret. Always go with the gut.
Got the heart of a champion.
I mean, it's really going to come down to whether or not Fruity Pebbles can use their poke and range and just general
Ooh,
disengage.
max rage Vantage Toss and a combo stun. Soria just going to explode. Bladerade and Sandster. That was such an excellent Vantage Toss from Sandster. Amazing play. That ward just allowing him to pick off a perfect Vantage Toss. There's the stun going down in Raffles, but I think this might be a little bit too much. The Shirelli being blown, and now Sandster landing the ult on Fracas, and look at that. Girls' Generation gets there just in time, the jump going on top of Raffles, and the snowball has really, really begun for TLC. Just huge plays from Sandster there.
That was much better coordination on their part, and I may slightly be regretting my decision by now.
Yeah, that said, those chain stuns were very pretty, I gotta say.
It's the group team fight is really what's doing it for them, and they're gonna be able to take this tower down, no problem at all.
Yep. And they're going to see an ultimate bottom lane coming from Ezreal, just going to do a little bit of damage. Not going to be enough. They actually might be able to take a second turret here because no one's coming to stop them. And I mean, they're opting to back off, but I think they probably could have done it.
It looks like Dragon is coming up soon. So, I mean, that's definitely a good thing to grab while it's up, get it out of the way. And Fruit Market still is just farming up. I mean, he's getting a little bit more farm, but he can't really do anything against Tristana right now.
No, and I mean, looking at the gold lead for TLC is absolutely massive. It's going to go up to 7k after this Dragon pickup, and Fruit Market is a little bit overextended. Here comes the Twisted Fate ultimate. He's going to pour in the jump on top of Ari. Fruit Market is absolutely not going to escape. Who's going to pick up the kill? Are they going to give it? Bladerade is actually going to take this one, and that is absolutely huge. It is a 7.5k gold lead right now, almost 8k at the 19-minute mark. Wow.
Yeah, and what Rekka is doing, he got his Spirit Fist, he's gotten a little bit of armor, he's gotten his Heart of Gold. He's literally using his ultimate every time it's up. He's not trying to be, I mean, now he's being aggressive, of course, because I'm watching and I'm saying that he's not. But in general, he's being fairly passive, waiting for his ultimate. It's going to be up in 25 seconds. He's going to hit it as soon as it comes up, I'm sure. Just to stay in lane, to keep farming.
Yep, really well, really good job. I gotta give him full credit here. He's playing from behind, the whole laning experience, and now he's really coming back. He's just gonna use the sustain. He's still just trying to keep Schluber in lane, and I mean, if Schluber doesn't leave to help his team soon, I mean, I don't know what Fruity Pebbles is gonna do to be able to come back.
Yeah, well, the thing is that TLC did get that first tower down, and oh, there it was. Rekka hit his ultimate as soon as it came off cooldown. But TLC got that first tower down, and now they can group up and exert presence on the map, which is really what Fruity Pebbles wanted to do. They wanted to use their team presence and their poke and disengage to take towers, but they can't right now.
Yep, here's going to be the gank top lane on top of Schluber. Missing, he once again dodges that Bandage Toss perfectly, but I don't know if it's going to be enough this time. We're going to see a counter gank there. I'd wisely back off because they did see Raffles come in. Raffles going to see if he wants to initiate, but I think the power is a little bit too strong. No, he actually does initiate on Sandster, but Raffles eating a little bit too much damage. The taunt going down from Fracas, and there's the Curse of the Sad Mummy. An ultimate from 2+2, and now Raffles does go down. The flash from both Sandster and Rekka, actually, but Arius proves to be a little bit too slippery.
Raffles being a little bit too much of a man, baiting his team right into the middle of an Amumu. It's never where you want to be, especially because Sona's right there. And Sordia getting slowed by 2+2 and stunned by Bladerade. He is not going to make it out of this alive.
No, and there's another kill for Bladerade. The advantage now going to 9k at almost 21 minutes, and this is just an absolutely massive lead, almost insurmountable, I would say, from Fruity Pebbles. I think we need to see a huge team fight from them, and we need to see a Baron.
I always want to see the Baron, it's that big throw bait. But Tristana does have money for Zeal already. That's going to be scary. I mean, she's already got her Infinity Edge, so she's already terrifying. But once she picks up a little more attack speed and gets more levels for her Q to give her more attack speed, she's going to be a terrifying late game carry.
Yep, and speaking of scary, I was a little bit worried for Girls' Generation there for a little bit. He was pushed up to the second tier turret, and Fracas was dangerously close there, although being at half health, probably didn't have to worry too much.
You ain't afraid. You don't cur. And Rekka and 2+2 really just sieging up this tower against Schluber. Schluber's doing his best to keep it alive and really deter them from doing that. But he's not going to be able to hold it for long. He needs some help up there.
Yeah, but it looks like he's going to get it in the form of Sordia, and hopefully Raffles. Actually, Sordia just content to drop the ward and abandon his top lane mate, who's not going to survive much longer under this constant harass from Mundo and Sona.
And we do see more people moving up here, but gonna get sandwiched between the rest of TLC. This is not gonna go well.
No, Sordia blowing his ultimate very, very early and just walking in. Again, a little bit of miscommunication there. Sordia just gonna explode. There's the sandwich happening, and I mean, Raffles just sort of ran up and said, oh, well, there's the team. See ya, Sordia. And now here's going to be the stun. There's some flashes going down. Raffle's going to eat all of the damage again. Tries to flash off back towards the turret. And down goes Sluber. There's an Ezreal ult, but it's not going to accomplish a whole lot. The Twisted Fate ult going out. Bladerade is going to got to be really careful because he might be able to be bursted down by Fruit Market. He's going to be really careful. Actually, Fruit Market getting that last kill. The Fracas is going to explode again. And look at this. Girls' Generation is 7-0-4.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous. And if you notice, Ezreal decided to completely, skip Phage or any of that mid-game Triforce, build. And I don't really agree with Fruit Market there because, I mean, yes, Girls' Generation did snowball very quickly, and it's hard to, decide to make mid-game items when your opponent is doing that well, but if he had built Phage earlier, I think he may have done better, just because Ezreal's mid-game really is a lot stronger than Tristana's.
Yeah, I mean, I would say right now what Fruity Pebbles needs most is damage, and so he's got that Bloodthirster for it. So I mean, building a Triforce at this stage in the game probably isn't. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to do him a whole lot. But I mean, yeah, that Phage early on is pretty huge. It gives him the health you need, and that slow is, I mean, borderline overpowered.
They are looking. Fruity Pebbles is looking to push mid. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to actually get the tower in time for anyone. Well, they do clear waves incredibly fast. That's a big minion wave. I think they will pick this up because it is a 5v2 mid. But this is kind of what they wanted to do all game. They wanted this power, this wave clear, this siege, this tower siege, and they just pick it up really without TLC being able to do anything because the rest of them were back.
Yeah, but now they definitely have to back off because Sansa really wants to go in. He wants to banish Toss, and he wants to get an ultimate off. And you can see Wreckit was just tanking everybody's damage. He was waiting for Sansa to catch up, hoping he could get there before the tower went down. But in the end, Sansa decided not to go down because the rest of the team was not there to be able to defend it yet.
Yeah, and Fruity Pebbles does not have an Oracle, and that's one thing TLC is doing very well. Is doing a really good job of just clearing Fruity Pebbles' vision around the entire map. They have one ward, no, two wards rather, in the top mid bush and in the top tri brush, and that's on their entire vision. They don't have a lot, going for them right now.
No, definitely not. I mean, TLC has a very solid lead right now, and I mean they can essentially afford to push turrets all day. They are going to further increase their lead by picking up yet another dragon, and then I mean they can already start to siege those turrets because one misstep from Fruity Pebbles. Oh, here we go. We're going to see the Shiralee's Raffle's getting stunned before he can twist advance on anyone, getting bursted down almost completely before anything happens. And look at this Girls' Generation just free to auto attack. He's going to get the double kill. He's going to get actually not the triple kill because Bladerade did pick that up. The jump giving him that reset, and the red buff slow, along with the Kleber slow, and this might be an ace. No, Schluber is able to ward off Wreckit. Sansa are going to try and slow down Fruit Market. They do want to pick him off, and this will be a very, very easy Baron or inhibitor if they can pick up that kill. And
no!
Fruit Market might be killed by Baron. Yes, the Baron kill.
No. He arcane shifted and pulled Baron. Oh, Fruit Market, why? There's just not much that they can do right now.
No, they're behind by 13 carry. Now the GG is going out, and there's the surrender from Team Fruity Pebbles. And despite the perceived skill advantage, they had more platinum players. But you can see a team that has actually practiced and played together for a longer amount of time really pulls off the win.
Absolutely. The team that is going to be on top of everything is the team that's been together, knows how each other works. And, they really did a good job of snowballing their early lead. It was incredibly well done, and I would like to. I like watching TLC play, and I want to keep track of them for the future.
All right, well, we can definitely do that. That's what we're here to do. So we are once again Team Liquid, Twin Cast and Golems. If you guys have been paying attention, I can't see your overlay right now, but you should probably switch to the other one. Oh yes, see, you're on top of that. You can see there's our Twitter, our Gmail. We have our YouTube channel where all of our casts are going to go up there. Please, by all means, subscribe to us, follow us. We're going to be doing tons of casting. We are trying to enter the AHGL, so you think you can be the next caster contest, and we would love to be the next casters. We would love to cast for HGL, and that is really like what our goal is here. But we're also here to provide entertainment for you guys.
Yes, leave your feedback, share us with everyone because we love you guys, and we're here to entertain you. So yes, thank you for watching.
Yep.